Pleasure to be here tonight with you and with this distinguished panel. I'm probably going to be able to speak more from the perspective of the smaller special districts. I'm Jim Scheller, and though I did run unsuccessfully for county commissioner, I have more experience and have served since 1993 on the Skippon Water Control District Board of Directors. And I also have served as a director for the Soil and Water Conservation District, Clatsop County, and currently I'm an associate director. Kathy gave a good overview of the process of running for office in terms of filing. It really is that easy. It's just one page, not very complicated. Where did you go to school? What's your prior experience? What's your address? Sign it, $10. It was more fun using the petition approach, where you have to get, in my case, 25 signatures, because then you are going out and meeting your neighbors. And I did enjoy the door-to-door kind of thing and finding out what my neighbors were thinking about. In my case, the water district, and why this was happening, and why the bills were this much, and why we were getting flooded here and there. I found that, like a lot of people will say, God, I'm tired of the government, I'm mad about the government doing this. And for a long time, I've carried around my little pocket copy of the Constitution of the United States, and it's always kind of amusing to me to think of people complaining about the government, because we are the government. We are the unpaid government, where nobody here is getting rich off government or all their connections and things. But we are the people serving the people, and it makes a big difference. And that's primarily why I ran. I wanted to make a positive difference in what was happening in the little Skippon Water Control district that I serve in currently. One of the things that can happen is when there's complacence for existing boards of directors. In our case, we had boards of directors that weren't meeting publicly. Nobody seemed to care. Nobody came to meetings, so they'd say, well, why have them in a public place? Let's just meet at Sam's house tonight, or Bill's house the other night. And while there might not be overt corruption going on, it certainly doesn't make government very accessible if we're meeting in someone's home and not in a public space, and having dialogue and conversations about the government process that people aren't party to. So to me, it's really important to have a race. That way we're able to raise issues, we're able to air the issues, we're able to have dialogue about the concerns and issues that people would bring to the table. And I enjoyed that very, very much in both the county commission race and in the water district and soil and water conservation district races. It's true that the paper will interview us. It'll cost a little money for the higher profile races, but for the small special districts, we're happy to have a candidate. And in plenty of cases, there's no candidate at all. And in one time, I had just wrote myself in as a candidate. My wife and my daughter voted for me, and I won. It is that easy, not even $10, right? But then, once you're there, as you say, how do we serve? And to me, it was an education that I very much enjoyed. I've learned since that power is actually very well defined. There's the ORSs, or Oregon Revised Statutes, that spell out very carefully what our authority is as a board, what our authority is as an individual. And as an individual board member, my real authority is that I can put something on the agenda. I can't make it pass, I can't make it fail necessarily. It's still a democratic process to see how we're going to resolve whatever concern that agenda item might be. But I can bring the citizens' concerns to the forefront of that level of government. And I can say, these folks are worried about this problem. In many cases, for our water district, it was about flood control. I'm getting flooded down here. Nobody's paid attention to this dam. And again, what I found personally for government that's not a participatory type of government, where there's not citizens coming to the meetings, where no one's paying attention to what this board of directors is doing, they don't do anything. And it's fine to let the infrastructure grow old and moldy, and then when things fail, they say, why did that diking district or water district, why did their water lines fail, why did this tide gate fall off, why are these people being flooded? And they say, oh, that's right, we have all this old infrastructure we haven't taken care of for 20 years. So in our case, we really had to rebuild the infrastructure, and that was the most fun part of government for me, was being able to work with so many federal, state, and local partners. And I mean Clatsop County, National Department of Agriculture, Division of State Lands, all the different land use and bodies that not only can fund but can help find solutions to government problems. They have government solution teams right here in the state. They have economic development teams that we can go to. They have engineering teams that can provide all levels of expertise. We don't have to be an expert to run for office. We hopefully will be honest citizens representing our constituency. But then there are experts we can call on. There are people that know all about filing for office. I mean, there are people, again, that are engineers or whatever we need that are already in part of government. We don't have to reinvent those wheels. But I found it to be a lot of fun, and to me, one of the probably the best things I've ever done was be able to work with various groups and rebuild several of our dams on the Skippin'on River, and thereby be able to realize the secondary benefit of the Water Control District, which was to restore salmon run and clean the water up, pay attention to what was going on to the citizens in the district, and make it a process where people were welcome to the meetings and publicly oriented. Had a good deal of fun at it. The county race was for county commission was an eye opener. I was naive about the race, and I learned a lot of things. It can be expensive. It's unfortunate that we'd have to spend a lot of money to get a job you're not paid for, but it does take the lawn signs and the ads and things like that, and getting the name and the word out that we want people to know about. So that's pretty much all I had to say. Questions from anybody? It's well worth it. It makes a big difference. I appreciate more people running for office.